All right, what's up, everybody? You might be wondering why I played the 2024 agency incentive video. It's because it's almost time to go to Cancun. We're just a few short months away. So, for those of you that have qualified for Cancun, if you have not locked down your passport yet, make sure that you go ahead and do that. I did mine a few weeks ago. I got the thing back in 2.5 weeks. I did do the expedited because I didn't want to chance it. But if you are needing your passport for Cancun coming up here in just a few months, now's the time to get it. Don't wait until the last minute. Today's call is going to be a good one for you guys because you're going to get to hear from the agent of the month for the month of February. So we're going to go over those numbers here shortly. And you guys might be surprised to see who is in the top 10 year to date. So I'm going to go over that with you guys. So let's get that pulled up here for our February recap. All right. So here is the new newsletter that will be getting sent out to you guys here today, along with all of your production numbers. Your production numbers are going to go to your direct coach first, and then they will send those out to you. So be on the lookout for those as we wrap up this week. Big month of February, guys. We did a lot as an agency. So one thing that we talked about before, right, is each month we want to do better, right, at giving back to the community. God's given us a lot of things, and I think it's up to us now to be able to give back to others. So in the month of February, the contribution went to the Wells of Life Foundation. Very excited to share that story with you guys as they're going to start actually building the well over there in Uganda, and we'll get pictures and stuff as that gets updated throughout the next couple of months. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. But you guys made a big difference there as an agency donating to that group. And on today's call, you're going to get to hear from the agent of the month running our new incentive. So if you guys missed this on the last call, if you get to hit agent of the month, you get to pick the charity that you want us to donate to as a company. So the agent of the month of February will get to pick that here shortly. And online learning is live. You guys know that. But if you're new here, make sure you click this link inside the journal to register for the training and start those courses. The incentive trip for Scotland. So many of you are on track to hit that thing after going over last month's numbers. I can't wait to see it, but the qualifications are there for you. But let's talk about what you guys have been waiting for. So the top 20 in the month of February, we had Hope claiming her spot in the top 20. Jenna, like always, we had Matt G claiming his spot in the top 20. Big shout out to Willie coming in strong. Hey, Willie said on a coaching call with me that he's running for Rookie of the Year this year. So rookies, you better watch out. Better watch out for Willie there as he's running to a big height. Big shout out to Joni claiming her spot. We had Becky claiming her spot. She already won Rookie of the Year. The next one up for her is Agent of the Year. And I don't know if you guys have been keeping track of numbers this past week, but Becky and Julie have been crushing it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see her running for Agent of the Year this year. Okay, big shout out to Doug, like always, claiming his spot in the top 20. Ray claiming his spot. Sam, big shout out to her, just getting back from Texas as she flew out there to train with some new agents. Jennifer Garner crushing it, like always, being in the top 20 last month. Justin claiming his spot. We had Kelly claiming her spot. Dennis has been on fire lately. Julie claiming her spot like always. Big shout out to El Chapo claiming her spot. And T-Wade. Look at that. The two friends rivaling each other there. T-Wade edged out Allison just a little bit last month to put herself into the top 5. Big shout out to Kirk coming in the top 5. Becca just been on fire since she got started here, coming in at number 3 last month. Rebecca and Aaron battled it out, but the agent of the month last month was Aaron. So big shout out to Aaron. You guys are going to get to hear from her shortly. Let's talk about the top 10 year to date. So this is a feat, guys. We're 2 months into the year. top 10 so far. We've got Allison claiming the top 10. We've got Sam in the top 10. Jody claiming her spot in the top 10. Big shout out to Dennis and Jenna in the top 10. Big shout out to Jennifer. She is in the top 10 as well, as she's just been on fire lately. T Wade coming in the top 5. Aaron coming in the top 3. And then we've got Kirk and Rebecca battling it out so far for Agent of the Year. Right now, Rebecca is sitting at number 1 agent year to date. So big congratulations to her so far, leading the way. We'll see if she can keep it. I don't know. Kirk's on your toes, Rebecca, but we will see. But big shout out to you guys. Hey, so many of you hit the 10K and up club last month. So many of you are on track to hit some big promotions. So I just love seeing it. I wish I could give every one of you a shout out, right? But we only got so much time on today's call. But big shout out to Rebecca leading the way for the year. And then, of course, to Aaron and her spouse of the year here, Mr. Jeffrey Lunsford, as they are just running. Maybe they'll be a power couple, Aaron. You and Jeffrey, the power couple of 2025. But big shout out to Aaron as she took home Agent of the Month. The rest of this stuff in this PDF, guys, I'm going to send out your way. And you guys can check out all the cool updates that we have as an agency inside that file later today as it gets emailed out to you. But without further ado, I want to bring on Erin so we can pick her brain on how she was able to just have a massive month, well over 20K on her own pen. So Erin, I'm going to add you in here to the feed. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. What do you think of that picture of you and Jeffrey? You didn't know I was going to put Jeffrey on there, did you?
I'm not surprised.
He deserves it.
You seem to be Team Jeffrey a lot.
Yep. You know, if you're an agent of the month, he's got to be spouse of the month, right?
That means he definitely claims he thinks that.
Yep. Too fun. Well, Aaron, big shout out to you. You won Agent of the Year last year, Agent of the Month last month already. You're already on track to probably take back your title. I know Kirk and Rebecca are up there right now, but I see you coming for them. So what, just a tip, right? What goes into being the Agent of the Month?
Really just everything that you guys instill in us every single day, whether it be on these calls, you know, what our coaches are teaching, whatever, just putting that into action. If you do everything that you have been taught and you are consistent and you make your schedule and you plan, it happens. And but you know, I had a terrible January for me, and it was you know, a lot of family things and with my grandparents and all, and it got to me bad. And I told myself, you know, baseball season is starting, and February I have got to put my head down and I have got to run, because, you know, even though baseball started like into February, into March and April and, you know, May, it gets even more hectic and my hours in the field are less. So I tried to pack in some extra long days, multiple days a week in February. You know, I made my schedule and I stuck to it. And that, I mean, I just put my head down and ran and did everything that you guys have always said to do.
That's so funny, Aaron. I know that you say baseball, like it lowers your time in the field, but I think every time you go to baseball, somehow you end up writing a policy at the baseball field. Cause I see the picture of you on your iPad posting that. But so let's talk about schedule, right? You've been an agent who consistently can hit 20K plus months back to back. Like it's nothing for you. How many people do you sit with and talk to each week, do you think, to be able to do that?
You know, my goal, of course, is as many a day as I can get in. But, you know, some weeks are slower than others, and some weeks just feel like they just come natural. It just happens. And then other weeks it's like, what am I doing wrong? Or, you know, but I mean, it changes every week. You know, some weeks you get into these houses and you have all these, you know, these family members and you get these referrals and you know, I probably at least sit with, I'm going to say no less than 10 a week at least. Um, and then, always hopefully more, but that makes at least 2 a day. And I'm always praying for 3 or 4 a day.
Hmm.
But my goal is definitely no less than 2 a day. Um, to sit down and completely get through it. But and some days I might have one, and some days I might have 5. But my goal is always to get at least 2 solid presentations a day, and 3 would be, I'm not going to stop
Hmm.
just because I have my 2. I'm going to keep going.
One thing you've always been very good at, which I think it's really the difference between an agent who finishes the week at like 2K, 3K versus 5, 6, 7, 8, $10,000 weeks, is you're really good at like maximizing each house. So like, I know you're sitting there, I think agents were expecting you to say like, oh, you must be sitting with 7 people a day to hit that number, right? But really, you're very good at, when you get into a house, you write everybody in the house, you get referrals, right? You're calling their brother, their sister, their, like, I think you pretty much write the entire family. So what's a tip you'd have for an agent that just struggles with being able to do that? A lot of agents, they'll get in there, they'll write the spouse, and they're too afraid to talk to the other spouse. So how do you get into a house and just maximize the whole thing?
So if they're both there, of course I'm going to be like, hey, you need to come and listen to this too. I'm gonna, you want to act like everybody's included. Come on. A big example last month that happened for myself and Jennifer. We were together and we stopped, and it was a couple, and we wrote. We came for one, and the other one kept walking through and listening, and we told her, hey, sit down and listen, and she's like, oh, I've already got mine. And well, by the time we left there, we had both of them. We had the sister of one of them. We had all the grandchildren of one of them. We had a brother, and then we have a daughter that we still have to get to, that she wants it on herself, her children, and then her dad doesn't have anything, so she's wanting to get something on her dad. So it's all about the connection. You have to make a connection. And I mean, I walked in a house yesterday and I felt like me and this lady were on a personal level, like instantly. She didn't even, we probably talked for 30 minutes, and I was finally like, okay, we've got, but I mean, I knew everything about her family. I felt like I knew all about her situations when her mom passed and how things went down and why this is so important to their family. And, it's just the connection. And when you connect with them, I feel like it brings out more and more trust. So the more you connect with them, the more they trust you. And also when you get the other family members, like I have a street that everybody on that street, they're not all family, but majority of them are family. And then there's a few that aren't, but I have them as well. When you have that whole entire street or that whole entire family, your retention is so much better.
Mm-hmm.
One person's not going to come in and say, hey, I'm here for your insurance. And they're going to be like, well, I got the same insurance as everybody. So,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to, typically they're not going to switch anything up. But, so that's a big thing. Make the connection so that, your retention, you got to think about the future too. You want to keep that policy, keep them as clients, and it's just building the trust with the connection. And then when you do that and you are on a personal level with them, they're like, you know what, let me get you with my sister, let me get you with my brother. And tell them, hey, look, do you know anybody else? What can they say? No. I mean, just like knocking on a door, what can they say? No. I mean, that's the worst they can do. And say, well, I don't have anybody. Or, I'll figure out somebody. And if they don't, they don't. But when you ask for them, typically they're gonna find you somebody.
Mhm.
It's just don't be scared to ask.
That's so true. Cause I think back to that statement you just made, if you write like the whole street, guys, a lot of times family lives around each other, especially, I don't know where, where everyone's located at. We got people all over the place, but in North Carolina, they're usually within like 5 minutes of each other. I remember there was this one street, it was in, where was it? Wadesboro. And I remember Alicia and I had written one house there, but everyone was cousins or related. I mean, and we end up writing everybody. It's just like you said, that retention's so high. So, Aaron, sometimes with referrals, agents kind of they hit a disconnect because let's say the family doesn't live close by. Now they got to get them on the phone. They've got to do the remote application, selling it on the phone, getting the email signatures. Walk an agent through that process, because one thing you're very good at is following up and making sure you get all the signatures worked out. And some agents seem to really struggle with that.
Oh, don't get me wrong. There have been many struggles with signatures because sometimes now the younger generation, like that daughter and stuff, I'm not worried about getting her signature, through
Yeah.
email or text or whatever. But this older generation, you can sit there and tell them, go here, click this, click that, and they still, and it gets so frustrating for the agents that do this strictly on the phone. Every time I go through this and struggle, I'm like, how in the world do they do this over the phone every single day? It's just not for me. But I'm not tech savvy either. So, but most companies have step-by-step instructions. So literally I sit there and I go down the instructions of click this, do this, and most of the time they eventually figure it out. I've had to say, okay, when so-and-so gets home tonight, I have a man that lives with his son and daughter-in-law. When she gets home tonight, get her, y'all call me and we'll start from there. So sometimes they'll have other people that have to come in and help them do it, but it is a struggle. It's not easy even for me to get those signatures. Sometimes it's bam, bam, done. And then sometimes it's like, do you have somebody that can help you? What can we do to figure this out? Now, if they're not that far away, I'm going to, hour and a half, whatever, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to plan a day that way and I'm going to come see you. I can't do this. So, but usually we figure it out. They have somebody that can help them or, but those email signatures and text signatures, they're not for the weak.
No, they're definitely not. It seems like carriers are getting a little bit better with kind of making it simpler. I know a few carriers have it real simple with voice signature or text to signature, and that's starting to help. But it's like, I'm with you there. You try to walk someone through some of those emails and they only have their phone, but they're talking to you on the phone and they're trying to. So one tip I would give you guys, if you're trying to if you're doing a referral on a remote sale, stay on the phone. And like, it might take you 20 minutes, right? But walk them through getting that signature, walk them through getting the email, because if you don't, you might lose the sale. People might get frustrated. They might open up the link. You might, they might never complete it. So, but one thing Aaron's really good at is following up, especially with those referrals. So, Aaron, what's a tip you'd give for an agent about leads, right? So I know a lot of these agents are probably thinking, she must be working a secret lead type or a secret lead source. Like, what is your tip for them as far as what kind of leads should they work? How many should they get going into each week?
How many to get, it kind of depends on what leads you're getting. If you're getting, just use like Integrity, because I know a lot of people are using Integrity lately. If you're getting like all bronze leads and they're $1, buy up what you can. Because not that, I've sold just as many bronze as I have diamonds or any other whatever, but buy up all that you can. And I promise you, if you buy 50 of them, there's no way you're not going to make your return on that. You're going to, that $50 is going to be multiplied by a lot. If you only sell, 3 or 4 of them, you've still way, way profited. So But I mean, newer leads, obviously, our goal when we get newer leads are going to be, hopefully we don't have to have as many to see that return. I do have a direct mail order in. I haven't gotten any yet, but I'm hoping any day now. I have been working a lot of integrity. I I just put in whatever I've got. I don't care if I've had it for 5 years, 4 years, whatever. If I've got it and I haven't gotten them home before, and I'm in that area again, I'm gonna plug that lead back in, or I'm gonna, So, example, the other day, one of my agents, Jennifer, she went to a lead. She got that lead herself as an age lead in 2023. It was an old TTC lead, and she got it. Had only gone by there one time, and he wasn't home, and she was in the area and thought, "Let me go back by here." So there's no telling how old that lead was. If she got it as aged in 2023, and she sold that premium, $500 in a month, in the 2 apps that she sold.
That's crazy.
That's amazing. And what she paid, probably $5.
Yeah. And that's what, over 12,000 in production off that one house.
Yeah. Well,
pretty much 500 times 12. What is that? That's a lot.
Like
6,000, 6,000. I was doubling it up for.
I thought my math was.
It was still like 6,000 off of like a very inexpensive lead from 2 years ago.
I mean, do I get frustrated with leads? Absolutely. Who doesn't? I mean, it's in our mind. And I know that if I tell, any of my coaches, "Oh my goodness, what is wrong with me?" I'm in my head, and I know that I'm in my head. What is wrong with these leads? It's not the leads. I know it is, just keep going. But I can't really say a number that I would, because like I said, I'll buy however many leads I can buy that, the beginning of that week. And sometimes throughout the week, if I couldn't get many, I'll check. And then I just, keep going, and I'll use old. I don't care. Like I said, we all love a new lead, but we're not always going to have new leads to work. So just plug in what you've got and keep going until they tell you no, or they, nobody lives in that house or whatever. Don't mark them off. Don't just, don't write it off. I'm not saying I'm gonna go to some house 10 times, but if I'm passing by it, I'm gonna look and see, So just be prepared. Buy them every week. If I don't get to them the week before, I'm going to get to them the next week and just buy more and add to it. And that's how I set up my route, as well as I never delete out any. I always just add to it in the same areas. So I have a route for this county that, and I just add to it.
That's a key right there, is keep adding, because you get to the point where, after a few weeks, excuse me, you have so many people to see, like your day is packed. You can go the whole day and not even hit everybody on your route planner. I think that's crucial. I think sometimes leads are I have a love and hate relationship, right? Because I love them, because it doesn't matter what you work, you're going to make your money back tenfold on them. But then I hate them because it makes us lazy as agents. It gives us an excuse as to why things might not work. Oh, this lead type's bad, blah, 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 blah. Guys, we're like a spoiled industry. Most door-to-door sales industries, they don't even have leads. They literally park on the side of the street and they just go through the whole neighborhood, cold door knocking people. The fact that we even have a lead as somebody requested help just makes us so spoiled, so it makes our job so much easier. So, but guys, take away what Erin said. One thing I took away from her, what you just said, Erin, is that you're not judging the different kinds. You're just constantly evolving. So you're working in these leads. Now you're ordering direct mail. Like, you're constantly marketing. You're constantly getting people to see. And I think when agents start to struggle, it's because they're not doing that. They're trying to work the same 10 leads they bought 4 weeks ago over and over and over again, you know, and it just doesn't work that way. So, but Aaron, one thing we're super excited about is this new incentive where the agent of the month gets to pick what charity or foundation we'll donate to as a company. So this is all up to you. Which charity do you want to pick?
So when you threw that at me yesterday, I was like, oh my goodness, I have no idea. Obviously, I know a lot of charities, but then I was talking to Jeffrey last night, and every year we attend an event, and it's usually around this time. It might even be today, but we are not able to attend it this year, and it is for the Shriners Hospital. So we go every year, and they do all these raffles and, you know, these big ticket things and all that. So since we're not able to attend because we have 3 ball games this evening,
3 in one day.
So we couldn't get those rescheduled. So since we're not able to attend those tonight, and my husband's father in 1985 was burned, majority of his body, and he was at Chapel Hill, but just being behind, you know, burnt children, burn victims and things like that. You know, we like the idea that it was geared towards children. And then, you know, like I said, my husband's father was burned, and they didn't think he was going to recover. And, you know, he did. And a lot of time in the hospital and a lot of therapy and all that. But so Jeffrey and I decided on the Shriners Hospital.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never heard of that hospital before until you sent it to me. I've never heard of it. Now I've heard of like St. Jude, different things, but I never heard of that one. But then I looked them up. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool what they do, because they help kids from anything from, it seems like, burns, from like deformities, just anything that a kid could go through. So I love that. So we're looking forward to, we'll get that set up here this upcoming week, Aaron, and then I'll share it with you and how we were able to help them out and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So this month's donation is going to go to, it's called Shriners, right? Shriners.
The Shriners Hospital.
Shriners Hospital. So love that. Well, grateful for you, Aaron. We appreciate you for jumping on today's call. Next time you hit Agent of the Month and Jeffrey gets Spouse of the Month, we got to have Jeffrey sit next to you so Jeffrey can be on the call too. So he's over there.
Don't worry. He's
over there.
Yeah, he keeps on making faces. I'm having to ignore him.
There you go. Well, next time we're going to have Mr. Lunsford on the call too about being the Spouse of the Year. So, but Aaron, we appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on here and the tips. Guys, that's all we got for you on this Friday call. We've got today and tomorrow to finish the week strong. So I hope everybody has an amazing weekend, and we will be back here on Monday. Thanks again, Aaron.
Thank you.